good? What's great? What's better? Oh, yes. I am Joseph R. Wheeler III, artist, founder, president of the ONYXCON Foundation, 501c3 nonprofit arts and creative lifestyle. We represent that art life. We represent that best creative life, that thinking out the box life, that true woke, progressive, grassroots. Yes, we want to be wealthy. Yes, we want to be sustainable. Yes, we want to, first and most importantly, lead with respect, then power, then resources. That's the code. That's the code. So, you ever had them days you just like, man, I got to do my routine, but I just don't feel like none of it. Today, one of them days, kind of. I was just like, you know, I've been realizing for a while, it ain't nothing new. I mean, if you live in America, you know this reality, what I'm about to say. But it's like they talk about the rat race, and some of us, you work so hard, you finally get the money for the rent or whatever your situation is, your main living expenses, and you still ain't got enough for everything else. And it's like the clock just starts all over again. It just starts all over again. It just feels like you didn't do nothing. Like, golly. And you may even be one that knows how to save and prepare and all of that. But you got to have something to save. It can't all go to expenses. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we always be stressing here saying, yo, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Because when ONYXCON is sustained, I can do more content. When I go live like this in the car, I won't just be doing side gigs. I'll be doing the main gig. Be chatting with y'all on the way to a venue, to an event, to an outdoor environment, something to make content directly, you know, like real environments, not just video chat. So if you're feeling that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That's the number one thing. And then after you do that, make sure you actually watch more than just, you know, right now. Look in the playlist and realize that we have shows. We have gaming content, Busting Pixels. We got ONYXCON Outdoors Worldwide. And that implies everything it sounds like, plus more. Yes, it's outdoors, but it's also everything that is inspired by the great outdoors. So we'll do events. We'll do travel. We'll interview and review. We do movie reviews. We make movies, independent film. I already have some shorts here for you to check out. Biggity, what is it? One of my shorts. Check that out. It's a fall seasonal favorite, but it works any time of year. Any time of year. So, I was watching Netflix because I got one of those bundle packages that's eventually gonna fall off, and I'm just like trying to use it as long as I can, see as much as I can, catch up on as much as I can before it's over with. And I finally saw this movie that I heard about when it first came out. I saw commercials for it. I saw a couple of people saying it was good, but I'd never seen it. Leave the World Behind. That was a good movie. Leave the World Behind. Now, if you haven't seen it, it stars Julia Roberts and Mahershala Ali, to name a few. Mahershala Ali will be the next Blade, if you know already. He's played in so many things. Excellent actor. Excellent actor. And, you know, I'm an actor, I'm a writer, I'm a producer, so I appreciate it from every angle when I'm watching a movie. All the way down to thinking about how they did certain scenes, because I do stuff behind the camera too. I'm production assistant, all that stuff. But this is a good movie, y'all. But what makes the movie, aside from being good though, it's kind of disturbing. It's like I purposely picked it because of how it relates to the times we in right now. And it's literally dealing with governmental, political, social, all the issues, right? But through the lens of two families that by way of circumstances have to learn to rely on each other and trust each other in a crisis. And there will be there will be spoilers here. So if you ain't seen it and all that, you know, go watch the movie, because I'm about to talk about it. All right. Now, Mahershala Ali's character, and I wish I had all the names of the actors and actresses, but I don't. I named two major ones. That ought to be enough for you to know it's well acted, because they wouldn't put those two legendary actor and actress with just any old body. They got to be in there with some heavyweights. So everybody did their job, you know. Some, you know, some not as impressive as others to me, just because maybe I didn't like the character per se as much, but I still appreciate the craft and good acting and great storytelling. So Mahershala Ali's character basically owns a home, it's a mansion. He's super rich, you know, and lives with his wife and daughter, teenage, well, not, she's kind of like college age daughter. And they get stuck in the city on a night when all power, well, not power, the power still works. That was the interesting thing throughout the movie. I noticed that the power works, but all electrical devices, all cell phones, all, you know, digital devices that rely on Wi-Fi and satellite communications and things of that nature are down. They're all out. And as a result, people got to go back to some old school ways of survival. But most of the movie doesn't deal with them really roughing it. It's more about the days that precede facing the reality that that's what time it is. Facing the reality that nobody's coming to save them. They can't rely on any government assistance. They can't rely on anybody. Like, I mean, people are, you know, and they're on the outskirts of the city. They're so far out that from certain angles of the town in the woods where they are, they can see over some water and see the city. But they're you know, maybe an hour away from the city. And there's a lot of disturbing scenes and great monologues and all that in there. But the thing that got me the most throughout the whole movie, oh, I gotta give y'all the rest of the basic plot. So basically, Julia Roberts and her family, the rich, live in the city white family that, you know, is used to all of the comforts of modern reality. Let's order out for some food. Let's order out for this, order out for that. We got plenty of money. We ain't got to worry about nothing. The pantry is full, et cetera, et cetera. The kids are spoiled. It's a teenage boy and a teeny bopper girl. And the kids, you know, are whiny whenever the Wi-Fi goes out, kind of, you know. There you go. Picture that. There you go. And they rent this house. It's like an Airbnb or Verbo for a weekend when this tragedy happens. And so Mahershala Ali, who actually owns the home, him and his daughter were about to get a hotel when the crisis happens, but they end up coming to this home to say, yo, guess what? I know you wouldn't know who we were, because you know how it works. If you know anything about Airbnb and stuff, a lot of times you never see who the owner is, other than that little small picture and an avatar sometimes. And even sometimes that can be somebody else as an agent of whoever actually owns the property. So when he shows up in the middle of the night, they're all like suspicious, especially Julia Roberts' character, the wife. She's tripping. She's playing the epitome of the ultimate Karen, you know, like everything but saying, who are these black people at my door? But you know, that's the energy. And these black people are like, this is our freaking house. And he's being, you know, super candor, the gentleman, the poised. I'm not going to get upset. Let's just talk about it. We can work this out. Let's mitigate. And Julia Roberts' husband character, who I'm forgetting his name, another well-known actor, he and him are, you know, they're having rapport. They're cool. But she keeps, you know, giving issue. And Mahershala Ali's daughter doesn't like them, because she's like, why should we have to beg? We said who we are. We gave enough information. You ought to trust who we are. Y'all just trip because we black. And we come in here under this crisis situation. You don't even believe there's a crisis. We telling y'all some stuff happening. And early on, the way they wrote it, there were a lot of, I will say, this thing had Swiss cheese holes in it. It was still well acted enough for me to ignore all of that and just laugh through the worst moments of the Swiss cheese holes in the plot. But good gosh, like, there were things said that just made you start wondering as the viewer, okay, wait a minute, are they legit? And I damn sure didn't want to think that, because I love Mahershala as an actor, so I'm immediately on his side. And, you know, he's a black dude dealing with these uppity folk. But it turns out he is legit. It is his home. And he just, you know, this is another part about his character I didn't like. And I like the daughter, way more for this. He stands up for himself, but in a not say anything and then go on to the next moment kind of thing, versus challenge every time he's being challenged. And the one time when he does kind of buck up is when they needed some help, because all the shit has hit the fan. They know that they're stuck by themselves. They haven't seen any other human beings that are alive, except for, I mean, like, when they first, you know, venture out the next day after the first night of uncomfort, figuring out their arrangement and allowing them to stay in their own damn house, which I couldn't say enough how the daughter was like, I was right there with her, like, I ain't nobody begging nobody to stay in my own house, and, you know, but especially in a crisis. But, you know, it was a good psychological twist to the plot, because it does make you think from the perspective of if you were the customer. Like, so there was a whole nother thing where, you know, Mahershala's character goes and gets some money that he has stashed in the house right in front of them, so they can see that, you know, legit. I wouldn't have the key to this if I don't live here, but even that, Julia Roberts' character was still tripping on him and all this, but gives them basically almost $1,000. They never specified exactly how much, but they allude to it being almost $1,000 in cash for the arrangement, and the husband's immediately like, cool with me. But all that becomes a joke in a matter of days, because once they realize that you ain't gonna need money right now, they ain't gonna be dead. Crypto is completely dead because all the computers are screwed, and there is no cash. Cash due in a barter and trade survival situation. So Ish immediately got real, you know, to the fullest levels. And one major scene where Mahershala And I'll tell you what, if you've never seen the movie, you might remember this trailer, because the trailer did get a lot of people's attention. Before or right on the day of the crisis, and the day they decided to go to the rental property or whatever, or maybe they were already there. I forget. I'm forgetting the order of that. But they went to a beach, and when the white family, and when they're out on the beach, a gigantic oil rig, one of these barges that carries oil tanker and everything, is headed straight to the beach. And the kids keep saying, "Oh, Mom, that thing looks like it's getting closer and closer." And they're like, "Nah, it's still not gonna think that's possible." Just don't know what the shit was about to hit the damn beach and kill everybody. Do they start panicking and running from the boat? So that scene was hilarious, because that wasn't even movie. I've been in situations where I'm already footing it out the door, and I'm looking and seeing goofy people who still would be saying, "I don't know, is that a problem?" Yeah, okay. Oh man. And then there were other scenes like that in the movie. Like, I think it couldn't have been more timely to watch this with what's going on. When there was a scene where there's a plane that has crashed. Think about it. Every time you're out, if you ever flown, they go on the plane, they say put your phones on airplane mode, because those signals and everything are super powerful when you got a whole bunch of cell phones and everything. So with all of the phones and all of the signals that are built into the plane shut up, I mean, they're off. They went haywire. So planes and everything else electronic is just crashing. And he's on the beach and he's witnessing the remains of all these people and bits of a plane. And he, panics and runs back to the nearest house on the beachfront, because there's another plane about to crash into the beach. And if he hadn't gotten in the house, he would have been dead, because he gets soaked with the water from the, literally like tidal wave effect of the plane hitting the beach and all that stuff. It was hell of a scene. Real disturbing stuff. And mostly disturbing because, as I've said on many of these lives, during and now after the election season, a lot of people who voted in favor of this, what I call the bizarro world that we are dealing with, because of the tyrant Trump and his minions. It was only until he gets in office and starts signing off on all this ridiculous stuff. Like the most recent thing that I found out was revoked. A judge said, "Hell no, we're not doing that." When he's trying to literally shut off departments of the entire government. Like absolute insanity. Like I said, bizarro world. But when you think about the effects of that in reality versus watching a movie like this, it's hard, man. You're sitting there saying, man, this could happen right now. And if somebody's still saying, well, no, well, I'll never forget on my last journey back in July, when I was in República Dominicana, and on July 17th and 18th, between that time, they had that cyber scare that messed up all flights going to and from the United States. And they quickly tried to patch it up in the press and say, oh, it was a malfunction of this one hub that controls a lot. Wait a minute, one thing controls that much powerful? I said, oh my gosh. But it messed up all flights, and I was a victim of that situation. It actually messed up my trip. I had to get another flight, messing around with a certain airline that it should be dead, but it's still showing commercials like they trying to rebound. I hope they go to hell and back, because they ain't worth nothing to be staying in business. Yellow and black, the colors. I ain't gonna mention them. But yeah, affordable ain't worth it sometimes. And you learn that the hard way messing with companies like that. So anyway, It was a nightmare. It took me forever. When I say forever, I'm talking about months. I was like 6, 7 months later before I finally got my refund for that flight that was canceled. Did y'all hear what I said? When there's a law that was put in place that anytime a flight gets canceled like that, you're supposed to be paid back immediately. It sure as hell wasn't immediate. Okay? Yeah. Yep. It's ugly like that, you know? So, this movie is like, to me, watching this was like, in any movie like it now, it just don't sit the same, like I say, for just entertainment. And I always knew this day would come where you go, be looking at some of these things and thinking, damn, that's happening right now in its own way. That's happening right now. That's happening. Those situations, like I say, the one I actually went through made me realize right there, I've been knowing, it ain't nothing new. I've been through, at my age, I've been through multiple gas shortages, the pandemic, the freaking stuff gets shut down because of some scare of a terrorist threat or bomb threat or what, all kind of stuff, right? But when you add up the possibilities and the temperament of a nation that is so obsessed with, after every tragedy, they pause for a minute, people talk about it in social media for a couple of days, if not a week, and then they just wait for the next one and they go back to every routine of acting like nothing's going on and it's all good and we're gonna be all right. And this movie deals with that. This movie literally has some of the greatest monologues. There's about 2 or 3 of them in there. One by Mahershala character. I want to pull those out and piece them together into a short or something, just to get that word out and that thought process out. Because when I tell you it was heavy, and it's the epitome of what is going on and what has been going on for the longest. You know? The only thing I would say too, though, is that unfortunately, when movies like this are written and the perspective that they write from, some of the writers, and like it was still well written, don't get me wrong, but well written and still needing some therapy for the writer themselves. I think a lot of times these writers, because it's more than one person, that's another thing I've learned in the process of making big movies and being on set and seeing that process unfold. Stuff happens sometimes on set that can switch a script where it was intended to be seen one way, but they flip something or they make an executive decision on the spot and it gets approved later and it goes through and it finishes into the editing process. And what you end up seeing in the movie theater is not necessarily what the original writer wrote or writers, because that's the other thing. It's usually not one person gets credit as the writer, but it's usually a team of writers that write every major Hollywood production. So generally speaking, a lot of times when we're looking at it and we're thinking, man, I don't like that, what they pushing it with this, or I don't like what I sense that's an agenda of something. It ain't no one person. It ain't no one person. It's a lot of people putting in their little tidbits that add up to the whole. But I noticed that when Julia Roberts' character was confronted by Mahershala's daughter character, who was always at her, them two was always butting heads, they finally had this kind of verbal face-off, so to speak. And Julia drops this hellacious monologue. I mean, shit is brilliant. Every word of it is right on point. But the part of it that's flawed, as always, when there's the issue of race relations in America, is she's still not truly taking blame for her stuff. She still thinks just because the world is crazy and I'm in it and I'm a result of it, my actions ought to always be justified, even though I'm aware of what I'm doing. It's like, no. It's like always that it just exclude me from my own analysis. You're up here analyzing it, and you make this brilliant monologue, and you're part of every bit of the problem she's describing as a character. And she wants to make sure, but we're all the problem. No, we all the problem because we're all dealing with each other, and the results of one person's issues rub off on another. But whoever the culprit is still the most guilty, and you are not taking the blame. It's just like, no matter what, you refuse to take the main. Hey, there's percentages here. You the winner. You the MVP of the bullshitters. You the MVP of the most got your head in the sand, as they say, ignoring the obvious problem, ignoring the elephant in the room. How many ways you want to say it? Her character's the epitome. You got to watch the movie to understand what I'm saying. I mean, the epitome. And then there's a lot of other weird scenes that just didn't fit. Like I said, Swiss cheese holes in the plot. Like, after everything that happens, the youngest son of the white family gets a tick bite that he ends up with Lyme disease. As soon as he got the tick, I said, okay, I know what that's about to be, Lyme disease. And he gets so bad that he gets to the point where Lyme disease can make your teeth fall out, and his teeth are falling out. That was a really gross scene. Yeah, real hard to watch that one. And so him and his dad and Mahershala's character go to try and seek help from this guy that works with Mahershala. He's supposed to be a friend, but he's really more like, this dude works for him. He don't really look at you as no friend. He just, hey, he's been catching a check for years, and he's friendly enough to keep getting his money. That's all that they really show in that scene. But when it gets ugly, where the one other character, oh man, what's his name? Is it Kevin Bacon? I think it is Bacon. Forgive me if I'm saying the wrong name. I think it is him. It's the dude from the Tremor movies, which I love those. I love Tremors. And I think that is him. But anyway, and of course everybody's older now in this movie, but he's on the porch of his house, and he's got his shotgun, and he's talking about his conspiracy theorist craziness. Even though like any typical conspiracy theorist, every now and then he'll say something that makes sense, but then he'll back it right on up with something so far-fetched and crazy, you're like, why the hell am I listening to you? So they end up having a moment where, they both been told to leave. The black guy and the white guy, Mahershala's character, and the other guy have been told to leave by, like, again, who I think was Kevin Bacon, if I'm not mixing up my names. Man, I gotta look that up real quick. I hate saying the wrong name. Just like, your memory be better than you think it is. But yeah, it's Kevin Bacon's character. So, yeah, they end up having a face-off, gun-off. He got the shotgun. My man Mahershala's character got the pistol. You know what I'm saying? Got the 9mm look like I think it was, and they about to do the thing, and then the other guys in between them like, oh yeah, it ain't gotta be like this. But that scene, even though it was, needed for a fever pitch moment, they were building up to a climax, so they needed something like that to happen. I did not like the fact that, as usual, this damn trope that just, I swear to gosh, like, you make all these, like I said, you make these brilliant monologues about everything that's screwed up in American society, and you outright are, without saying it outright, you're especially talking about race relations, class relations, this whole caste system that does exist in America, right? And when you get a chance to deal with it and throw away one of the most famous tropes that is a part of that whole thing, you go right back to safe code of this is what we always do. You got the magical Negro. If you don't know what that trope is, look it up. It's it'll explain itself in a long history. And it often uses the old term for African Americans, Negro, because that's the era when that especially got established, where in movies you'd see always this character that will lay down their life to save somebody white, and even if their own family is at jeopardy. And it literally happens with Mahershala's character, where his daughter is begging him, don't go with these people. I don't know if we can trust them. They've shown that they can be on other stuff and all this kind of thing. And he's like, I'll be back. I promise I'll be back. And she hugs him as if it's the last time she'll ever see her dad. And he goes on this mission with the other dude to help his son. And like I say, instead of it just being all right, they ain't gonna help me, we're gonna figure out another way. It's like, no. I'll die for this man to help his kid, even though your own daughter's waiting at home for you. And you said you weren't gonna get in a situation that would cost you your life, because that's what you promised your daughter. See, I'm sick and tired of that kind of BS. Because it didn't fit. You can't have a character do what he did, the way he did it, without any other explanation as to why he would suddenly flip and turn coat on him, on his own character. Your character's turning coat on himself. It doesn't make sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. And then there was another moment, that whole scene, back and forth scene, because they did that a lot in this movie. They did, someone else is at one location and someone's at another location. They do the flip between the two locations and build the likeness of what's going on in each situation. Because at the moment of that gun face off, there was a moment where the youngest daughter of Julia Roberts' character has gotten wandered off, which was a believable character. You know, it's what somebody her age might do. And she's so obsessed with her little young, call it anxiety. You know, everybody claims anxiety now. They all want to be clinical, even if you ain't got actual clinical anxiety. And she's freaking out because of everything that's going on, but especially because she can't watch the last freaking episode of Friends. I'm like, if I didn't know people who are obsessed with that show, I wouldn't understand, and it would have pissed me off so much I probably wouldn't even finish the movie. I would have been like, you got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding. The world is ending, and all this little this little child can think about is a last episode of a damn goofy ass sitcom. Oh my gosh. But you know what? You know what? I know from experience, y'all. And it's a cult. Like, Friends is a cult, okay? If you laugh and you feel me. If you're mad because you're one of them, then so what? You just don't understand that not everybody likes that freaking show or ever watched it. Don't give a damn about no damn Friends. And if the song starts playing, I'm like, oh gosh. You know, it's just, no, not everybody's over there. Not everybody's at that party. Sorry. And I hate the attitude that most people who are in it act like. It's just like The Office. Yeah, I know the one joke from The Office. That's what she said. That's about it. I know if I saw a clip from it, I know that's what the show is from. Other than that, I don't want to watch people in a corporate environment where they really hate their job. Why would I want to watch that? Sorry, that's just not me. It ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. Same thing would be said if I start talking about some of the greatest things I enjoy. You know, if I told you, hey man, I think one of the greatest made for Netflix shows for Marvel ever was The Punisher. And you're like, oh my gosh, that crazy show, it's violent and so. It ain't even about just the violence. I don't really get off on just violence. It's got to be purposeful violence. That's purposeful violence. The Predator is purposeful. I say Predator, I'm up here saying Predator. Excuse me, I'm mixing up I'm talking so fast I didn't even hear myself. The Punisher, excuse me. Damn, I know some of y'all laughing at me. Why do you keep saying Predator? I like the Predator too, the alien movies, what? But no, the Punisher, that's what I meant to say. So, that's gonna be funny as hell when I look back at this. But anyway, no, for real though, for real. So the girl is obsessed with seeing the last episode of Friends because she's been binging that. And when this tragedy happens, it's right when she was gonna watch the last episode. So that's literally her only purpose for living is I've got to finish the season of Friends. It makes me happy. And she literally has a moment where she's saying just that. It's like the most, you got to be freaking kidding me right now. Your life is at stake and all you can think about is that goofy ass show. But okay. All right. But anyway, so the other thing that happens that was so off, is when her character, the young girl, gets lost and wanders away from everybody. And so you got two dads go and get into the almost shootout trying to help the son who got the Lyme disease. And the son was sitting in the car the whole time watching this thing go down. And then there's another scene where they're juxtaposing back and forth where Julia Roberts' character and the young daughter of Mahershala Ali's character are in the woods, and there's always been since the beginning of the movie this weird troop of deer that are actually elk. And it was funny, the deer, and it's all deer family, but it cracked me up the CGI because I was like, did they not know what an elk is and what a white-tailed deer is? Because I swear it was looking like whitetails and elk running together in packs. Because some of them were like elk style in build and antlers, and others look more like whitetail, like what we get here in Georgia. And I was like, somebody don't give a damn about science. They just like, just give me some deer, some CGI deerish things, some deerisms. Give me some deers, God damn. So they are running like a rabid pack of dogs. Like the herd just keeps getting bigger and bigger every time you see them, and only the girl notices them for the most part. Everybody else is just so in their head with their adult panic that they're so adult they don't notice a pack of deer standing in the backyard all the damn time, almost every other day. And when I say pack, I'm talking about hundreds. And it's getting, every time they see them, it's 100 more. you know? And so they're in the forest, and they get into this little shack house where they think she may have went, which she did with her brother at one point earlier in the movie, wandering, but they came home. So when they go in there, they're talking, and they have that's when Julia has her masterful monologue and all that. And then they hear this thunderous roar of feet, and they're running through the forest. And they go outside, and they get surrounded. And there's this whole face-off with the deer, which was the most hilarious, unrealistic junk I've ever seen for telling lies on how animals actually work. Now, I've never encountered elk, but like I said, the CGI folk mixed elk with whitetails, look like to me. And I know about some whitetail deer. See them all the time. Might mess around and see one. I don't want to see one right now, but they could run out in the road at any given time where I'm at. So when I tell you these folk are yelling and jumping and wailing their arms up and down, and they're screaming and carrying on, the deer are just looking at them like, I don't give a damn about your yells. I think we're going to run through we're going to run through y'all. We've been running around. We just going to run through y'all, antler y'all up, leave you in the woods, you know. And instead of doing that, they eventually run off. But it's this long, intense scene of them screaming and them crying like they know they about to die. And the deer finally run away. Hilarious. Because I'm thinking to myself, first of all, if whitetail deer, if the males are in heat, they might still run away if you get loud and yell or something. But if they in heat, man, there's video of them actually attacking hunters that were on foot and came up, you know, on a deer that was maybe they thought they shot it. And by the way, I've hunted, so I'm speaking from that respect too. Okay, got nothing against hunting. You know, I'm talking about ethical hunting. Not pointless slaughter. There's a difference. If you understand the two, then I'm not speaking to you. It ain't even worth conversation because you'll never understand. You ain't got it in you, you don't understand. But you steady going to somewhere and, yeah, let me get a burger with extra, let me get 3 patties. Yeah, right, yeah. Well, some of us, if the ish go down, we know a way of getting out. And I don't know where, okay. Okay, here we go. Signal just, you know, dinging in and out. But I was saying, like, who knows how to acquire my own if I got to, right? I just laugh at when I see movies where scenes like this happen, because I know it's made by people who've never did nothing like that. They've never hunted, they've never fished, that's aquatic hunting. They've never done anything to acquire their own. They've never even been on anything more than a couple of good hikes. They've seen some deer out on a hike or something like that, but it's so obvious in the way it was written, and it's pretty silly, because if that many deer, for some strange reason, were running in a herd, which they do come in herds, but not that big, okay? You might see 20 deer together in a field somewhere eating, but 100 is a stretch. I ain't saying it's impossible, but that's a stretch, right? So for the sake of the movie, where they're trying to make it like, well, animal signals and everything are being thrown out, because the other thing is there's some kind of weird technological warfare going on where they're sending out this eerie sound that pierces your ears and it drives you crazy. It cracks glass, it's so loud. And that's another thing they did to make me laugh. I'm like, okay, if this sound is so loud, it's like, and everybody's like, ah! And it's cracking windshields and putting gunshot cracks in glasses in the house and stuff. I'm like, do you understand you'd be bleeding out your ear and you couldn't hear for a month? Like, they still talking. Every time it would end, they'd all be like, oh, wow, that was so bad. Oh, ooh, give me a Q-tip. I think I got an extra wax. You know, it was just that simple. I'm like, man, if something was that loud in your ear to crack glass, you'd be bleeding out your ear. Your eardrums would be busted. You couldn't hear each other. Y'all had to learn sign language real damn quick. Stop playing. Like, the stuff they do in Hollywood movies sometimes, and I'm in it, so I'm with it for the getting the part and doing the role, but it's still hilarious. I'm gonna tell the truth about what it do. When it's goofy, it's goofy, and that's about as goofy as I done seen. That was silly as shit. That was so silly. So because of that, they're making it like, you know, animals and everything, signals are off, birds. There was a scene where they were out at night and flamingos just came and landed in the pool, because they had a pool in the back of the house. Now, this is obviously supposed to be somewhere like New York or somewhere. I think they said New York, I'm not sure. But it's supposed to be something like that. Somewhere up north, whether Chicago, New York, something like that, right? So I'm like, this is hilarious because I get what you're saying about birds. Birds will probably do stuff like that. Yeah, I can see that happening. You mess up their signals and all that. All those animals that work off of aerial signals and things, yeah, they would be jacked up big time. And other animals would be acting weird too. So I'm not surprised with the whole element of the deer herds. But when you make it like they would really give a damn about two screaming women stomping the ground, flailing their arms, first of all, yeah, they would stop and look at you because deer do that. And they're good for giving you a good stare down. But like I say, if one of them was feeling froggy, that'd be your ass. I'm sorry. That's just, hey, yo, you might not die from it, but you about to get hoofed. You know, they don't technically have hoofs like a horse, but you get them little, I forget exactly what they call a deer's foot, the difference in a hoof and theirs. But you get them two prongs, you'll be getting papped up. Shout out to the legend, King Tony Taylor, what man name, the comedian, I think I said the name right, who always do the animal voiceover video. You be getting papped up, paps. You be catching some skibbity paps and some antler crams, cram. You know what I'm saying? If you know who I'm talking about, you know you laughing right now. Tony Baker, excuse me. Let me get my last name right. Gotta honor the man right. Tony Baker. I'm on one today with names, y'all. Sorry, but it is what it is. This is what happens when you got to do on the spot, real raw, unedited content. You ain't got time to always pause and go look for your references and stuff. You just getting it out. So this is it. This is the raw. Okay. But yeah, Tony Baker. But yeah, it's his famous phrases. You be getting skibbity paps, and cram, cram. Ah! Oh, if you don't know, look it up. You're going to be howling. Classic shit. Classic comedy. Anyway. So there's classic comedy in this movie that's not meant to be a comedy at all, and in terms of its ridiculous parts. But, let me not be finished. Hold on. There's one other ridiculous part I got to drive home. What the hell was this scene here? There's a scene, now mind you, there's been nothing but tension between Mahershala Ali's daughter and his family since the first freaking scene with them coming to their house and asking these people to understand we live here actually, y'all are renting our place. We just need a place to stay until whatever this is blows over, and then we'll get out y'all way and we'll finish the contract. Y'all got that, but we're gonna even pay you back your money so you're not losing nothing. Can we stay in our own damn house? I can't believe I'm asking this question. You know, that's how the daughter was about it. He's like, you know, I don't know, yes, a master type shit, but Mahershala's character is just, you know, being the humble. I mean, let's just, you know, I'm sure we can, you know, I'm well spoken, and you know, he's doing the, I felt every bit of it as an actor. I felt like he's doing a total guess who's coming to dinner, Sidney Poitier, you know. Like, don't think that, don't take my kindness for weakness. That ass whooping is right below the surface, but can we just be gentle about this and let's talk about it? I'd be damned if I stay in a hotel tonight. I own this home. The world could be ending, and I'm gonna be in my house winning if it ends. Okay. And the daughter is like, man, fuck all that. I told these motherfuckers now we live here. I ain't gotta prove shit to y'all. You better damn live. So I liked her character a lot. Oh my God, she was hilarious. And she's not hard on the eyes because she's a straight cutie. And you know she's playing younger than she actually is. That's always a standard in Hollywood. If they say 20, she's actually 27 more than likely. If they say 27, she's probably 32. That's just how the biz go most of the time. So her little teeny, let me at him, scrappy dude kind of self is, she's constantly at him. And Julia Roberts is quick to get on her little Karen mess and be cussing and, well, what the F is going on? And she totally punks out her man. I mean, they made that real obvious with that character dynamic, that he's the pushover husband and she's really the one wearing the pants and all that old, you know, they just put in every archetype for that scenario. And it's real disturbing to watch, but it's believable in some ways. The part where it gets unbelievable though, like once you've established what I just shared with how all these characters are. Oh, and the kids of Julia Roberts and her husband, by the way, they may as well be, they're little mutes that have a few, major scenes with lines, but for the most part, they're just little spoiled kids who just, blasé about everything, but again, believable, very believable that these would be the kids of these two people, and do the stuff that they did. And there's a moment where after everything has hit the fan, they're stuck in this house, they're coexisting, and if I remember correctly, the dads have both went on, I think that's when they both went on their separate missions, where Mahershala ends up seeing the damn plane wreck, and the other guy's in his own car, and he ends up seeing this man, what did he see besides? There was another major thing. Oh, yes, right. He was driving. He never got to a destination. He had to realize that all the streets are blocked off and everything. But before he could even get that far, he panics because first he sees this middle-aged Latina lady who is, for all given purposes, you assume maybe she's Mexican. And she's just on the side of the road. She speaks nothing but Spanish. Very good Spanish, by the way. Like, even though I'm damn sure not fluent, I could pick out words here and there and things like that, and I knew exactly more or less what she was alluding to. Like, she's like, please don't leave me here. Please, sir, don't leave me here. Don't leave me here. I keep hearing, I was like, okay, she's like, don't leave me here. Don't leave me here. Sir, please, please. Let me come with you. I'm not a problem. I'm not a threat. Just let me, please. There's people out here. They're trying to kill me or something. She's snotty nose crying. She did that damn role. That woman needed an award for that little moment. She killed that shit. She really did. You can't help but feel her in that moment. Like, damn, this dude, he ain't about shit. Because for all his talk about always trying to do the right thing and everything, he leaves her. It was a very realistic scene. He's so scary. And he's so whatever, he leaves her. And she's crying and clinging onto the car, and he just speeds off, and he's looking, and he's halfway crying like, I'm just not gonna look back. If I don't look back, I don't have to think about it, It's one of them scenes. Yeah, it's pretty bad, It's pretty damn bad. So, and then as he's doing that, then he gets a moment where which that was not very clear, another hole in the plot. They showed the thing in the air, but they never did a close-up of it so that you can actually realize it's a drone. But he said it was a drone that's releasing these little flyers. And it just looks like a big red cloud because all the flyers are red. And you're like, what the hell is that? And he's like, what the hell is that? So you as, the viewer, you're saying that, he's saying that, he spins the car around. So you do get into the moment. Like I say, the movie's well made. It puts you in the seat. You feel like you're in this stuff. And he turns the car around, he's speeding like, oh my gosh, what is this? And it's following him. And he can't outrun the cloud of red. And at a certain point, he just feels like, okay, I guess whatever this is about to hit me and I'm dead. And then it starts falling on the car and he realizes it's just paper, it's just flyers. So he gets out, he reads one of the flyers, or tries to. It's all in Arabic. And it's got this really ill illustration of like a cobra with whoever made that up was really on one. It was like they made it as like it was very stylized, as a visual artist, I can appreciate that element, but it was meant to look kind of like, a logo that might be on the side of a military fighter plane or something, in that style of a vicious mascot or something, and it's like a cobra, and it's got the fangs and it's hissing, and it says these Arabic words, but basically he doesn't know what it says until he gets back to the house. Shows it to his son, and his son is like, I played a game, and I don't know what the rest of it says, because on the back it's got all this Arabic, this number Arabic. And he's like, I don't know what it says, but I know this side says death to America. And he's like, oh, snap. So everybody's all panicked in that moment because they realize maybe we literally are in a war, and, the extremist groups are from whatever Arab nation that finally come, and they're going to wreak havoc on us and blah, 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 right? That's the hype. So, so in that moment, you see all of the fears surface. But then there was another moment with that in reference to the flyer when they were having the face off where the guns got pulled, when they were trying to help the son, and they went to Mahershala Ali's character's friend's house, so-called friend, who really wasn't no friend, the guy who worked with him or worked for him. contractor, and because that's what it was. The guy was a builder. He was a contractor that had done some work on his house, and so. And now he's acting like a stranger because in this moment now it's like it's just me and my family and all I got. And he had like a daughter that peeked out the window at one part. She didn't have no lines, so you know he's all frantic because he's trying to protect her too or whatever. So he out there with his shotgun, and they show after they finally calmed down, it was like, well, there was this the guy, the other husband, the white guy explains to Kevin Bacon's character, who's the extremist with the gun, this is what fell on my car the other day, and the guy looks at it and starts laughing. He's talking about, yeah. Well, they did the same type of thing at another place, and he names the place and says this kind of stuff happens all the time. And when it happened, where I saw it before, it was in this was the worst scene. This fool said it was in either Mandarin or Korean. I mean, one of them. I said, Lord, it was too real of a character. It was too damn real. It's like, yep, that's about the size of the idiots who talk that kind of talk. Like, you don't even know, you can't even visually differentiate when you're looking at Chinese calligraphy and Korean calligraphy, which is very distinct. Okay? Korean, the easiest giveaway for all Korean is that there's circles. There's these little circles. If you see that, more than likely that's Korean. But an ignorant motherfucker, just straight dumb, and think he know everything. So the character was so real. I was like, boy, if they didn't go there with him, yep, that's about right as it can get. Yep. This fool acting like it's the same language, all them, because the whole east of Asia is just one group of people to his ignorant ass. I said, yeah, that's about the size of it for anybody that stupid. And they come in all ethnicities and races, but it's a special breed when they on the the redneck version of it, like this character was. So that was hilarious. But Kevin Bacon's a great actor. I like Bacon more or less. He's played a hell of a lot of variety of roles, so I can respect him even when he's playing an asshole. Just as an actor, he's great. He's a great actor. He played that. He did that. That was easy work for him. He killed that. Because he's always played these country type characters, and there's different levels of what types he'll play. He can be kind of typecast, but when he, whatever it may be, he gonna do it. He gonna do it well. So anyway, that was that. So ultimately, like I said, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it enough. It's watchable, it's entertaining enough that even though the topic is extremely hard to absorb and face the music of, because it's hitting on all of the major things to be concerned with, especially now. And that's where my ultimate case is, to just say, one last scenario I got to break down. I said I was going to do it. And this is poignant to why it had a major flaw. Like, okay, you're dealing with a lot of heavy, so to throw in something like, there's two ways most American movies going to do that if it's an adult movie. There's going to be comic relief, or there's going to be sexual relief. Those are the two pressure gauges. Comic relief or sexual relief. People think somebody's about to screw, they're like, what's going on here, right? It's just a natural human reaction to flirtation on camera. But then there's also, the whole comedy is a hard one, though. It's the hardest one to do. Sex is universal. If anybody asks is flirtatious, okay, everybody understand that. But when you deal with something that's supposed to be comedic, everybody ain't gonna laugh at the same kind of joke. Everybody's joke ain't a joke to everybody. But everybody understands somebody might be about to get some, so they all happy about that, something. But it didn't fit the damn movie at all. Okay? There had literally just been a scene where Mahershala Ali's character is pretty much realizing that his wife, who's only spoken of, they never show anything of her, but supposedly you would assume because his daughter is black, more than likely his wife is black, or of the African diaspora, of the African diaspora, okay? Mixed whatever, we all mixed, but I'm saying you assume she's probably black. She's supposed to be an art dealer who gets stuck on a bad flight during this whole crisis. Mahershala shows his phone at one scene doing text back and forth to her, and at one point he can't communicate no more because, again, all the phones are gone. They're dead. You may get your messages, but you can't send any new ones and you can't receive any. So after he saw that plane crash, he's even realized, and two plane crashes, witnesses one that's already grounded, and then dodges another one that could have hit him. He's realizing, yeah, my wife is probably dead. And he's trying to be in denial of it. The daughter is like, is mama alive? Do you even, and she's like, of course she is. Of course. He's like, no, do you feel like she's alive? He can't answer that. That was really well acted and written. I like that. I guess the movie got a lot of good quality stuff in it. Really does. But where they screw up, so you do it right and then you mess up again. After a scene that heavy, this man is facing that his wife might be gone. And he's got these strangers in his house that are renting his home in a crisis. That could mean the entire world, we about to be scavengers, we about to go apocalyptic, we about to have to get it however we can, right? And these people have been nasty since day one, at least the wife has, especially the wife. The husband was cool with him, but the wife has been nasty since day one. She's been straight Karen energy up in this mug, right? Why the hell would, first of all, why would your daughter, who obviously didn't like nobody in this clique, just want, they showed a scene earlier where they showed that her way of relaxing when she's stressed out, she gonna smoke her little vape pen. She's into marijuana, she's smoking a little vape pen. So she go get her pen out the closet and she puffing. So there's another scene where she goes to get her little pen because she's stressed about thinking about her mom. That makes sense, okay, for her character and who she is, you know. Oh gosh. And a previous scene where the Julia Roberts and the daughter character, the black daughter character who likes to smoke, are at her house, comes into her pool at the backyard, and Julia and her kids are out there in the pool. She's in a bathing suit. She ain't got a whole lot to look at because she's a little tiny thing, but she's cute enough, you know. She got a little bit of cake in the back, some little bips, as I like to say, when you got the little A-cup breastises. But she got face for days. She's definitely a cutie in the face. And she got these little tattoos that shows that she's supposed to be, you know, a little edgy badass, whatever. I don't even know if half them tattoos are real. They did a good job on tats. I couldn't never, sometimes you can tell, like, no, that one looks real, that one looks like they put that on or whatever, you know. And she's lounging in the sun, and the boy is looking at her. The son of Julia Roberts is staring at her, trying to act like he's not. Very, very realistic scene. Teenage boy, he got all kind of hormones. She ain't far from teenage. She might still be a teenager. She in college. Yeah, that fits all day. But she don't really like these people. But she's out there. Technically, she was out there gaming them. I didn't read the scene like that. They did that well because it plays out later. I'm going to tell you. They laying there and they're talking. Julie is talking with her. They do some little exchange of conversation. That's not important. I ain't going to tell you every bit of the movie. I do want you to watch it. The son is sneaking photos of her when acting, and she's pretending like she doesn't know it. She got on shades. She's smooth. She cool as a cucumber. She already know this boy sweating her. She's grinning like, okay, got him, right? So later on that night, after the whole exchange with her dad about frustration about, you know, everything that's going on and everything, and she goes to get the vape pen again, and she goes outside at night to the pool, and the husband is out there, the white guy. Julia's in the house, away from her husband. Like, she wouldn't be like, where is he at? Let me go find him and sit with him. The kids are in the house, they're safe. Let me go see where he is. No, she goes and sits down in the kitchen and has a conversation with Mahershala Ali's character, and they start pouring some liquor. Now, I got a joke that I always, it ain't even a joke, it's a fact. You can test my theory, and if you don't believe it, you're gonna be wrong immediately. Matter of fact, where the billionaires at, so I can bet you $1 billion that everything I'm about to say is always true in every movie that's been made since, shit. We could take this back to the damn 50s. Yeah, we could take this back to the 50s. Definitely the 60s. And guarantee the 70s. But every freaking time consenting adults are about to have what might turn into a sexual or intimate encounter, there's always liquor in the scene. So they even did the close-up of the liquor being poured because Mahershala Ali had shown earlier in the scene, in the movie, that he can make a really mean cocktail. And the white husband was like, man, this is really good. You want one, honey? And she's like, she don't trust him. You're like, no, I'll pass. And she's having her wine, you know. And it's like, so she's having her wine again, and he's drinking his famous cocktail, and they're elaborating on some stuff, and he gets really deep with her and telling her why because in his line of work, which is the part that makes his character so mysterious through most of the movie, is he works with government contracting and things of this nature, helping folk make money in the stock market and crypto and stuff like that. So he's a real heavy wig in all of that. And he's so much deep into it that he had some client one time that worked for the Pentagon and stuff like that. And the guy told him some insider information. So then Julie and him, they're so tipsy that they start revealing all their deepest thoughts. And he's sharing with her all this other heavy stuff he knows. And she's starting to trust him more. But then by the time he tells this other stuff about the Pentagon and stuff, first they keep it light, joking about stuff. Then they go into the heavy about the Pentagon guy. And then she's like, I don't know if I like you. She just said, I like you. I think I'm starting to like you. And he's like, and they're grinning and sipping. And then she's like, you know what? I don't think I like you anymore. And he's like, well, hold on. Let me try to win you back. Come on. And she's like, what? What do you want to do? What are you talking about? Come on, let's go to the cellar. I want to show you something. Or some other part of the house. And he's got this secret, special, perfect record collection. It's like freaking all the way to the ceiling of the 12-foot ceilings. I love high ceilings. It was a dope ass house. It was dope. And she's like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And so she's all impressed and drunk. And he's kind of drunk. And he's like, do you like jazz? Of course he would say, do you like jazz? Because he's the refined black man, which I'm cool with that. It fit the character. And then she's like, no, that's boring. I want something we can dance to. I said, oh, God, here we go. Here we go. Meanwhile, while they're doing this, going through the record collection, his daughter is outside with her husband at the poolside in the dark. And she's like, do you like marijuana? And he's like, yeah. And they're puffing her thing. So they getting high on the weed oil. And one of the first things she says to him is, you look like, she says, because she's got this potty mouth, just like his wife has a potty mouth, but she's the younger version of it, this real quick shooter with it, where Julia's character got to get pissed off before she's like, where the fuck is my kids? And what the goddamn is going, all of that stuff. So he's like, she's like, you look like the type who would screw your students, because he's a teacher. He's a college teacher. Was it college? I think it was college. Yeah, it was college. And he's like, what? Why would you ask me that? Feeling like you got me, right? He's like all caught in the headlights with this one. And she's just looking all stern like, you gonna tell the truth or not? And he's like, why would you? And then she says, okay, I'm gonna give you a break because I know you ain't gonna never tell me, but I already know you're tight. You've been screwing all kind of students on the side from your wife because you and y'all got problems. And they showed that in the movie early that it's hard for him to get her into bed, even though they married. They got stress and they got problems and they don't really get along. And they just pretend to be okay with each other and all that kind of BS. It's kind of reminiscent, if you ever liked Ozark, the show. Their relationship is like old Marty on Ozark. And I was on Ozark, by the way. I did some episodes of Ozark. But yeah, the energy is like Ozark. It's totally like that. The pushover husband, the crazy stern wife that's always in his ass, and all that old BS, right? So, and it's not BS. It's realistic for the kind of characters. But, I mean, I'm just saying it's BS to tolerate. It's hard to watch. This, like, dude, get a divorce. Damn, Lord have mercy. It's not worth it. Ugh. So, why did you end up here anyway? God damn. So, hooey. So basically, the daughter, the young black girl daughter, is messing with this older dude's mind, trying to figure him out more, smoking. And she basically says, you look like you would screw your student. He's like denying it, but then she says, yeah, you look like you would, just have an easy time at getting ladies to like you. She's really just playing up his fucking ego. And he's like, thanks. Like, wow. So at that point, he's all the way open and talking all his business, and she gets a little bit more out of him. Nothing major, just all this. But the part that bothers me was the flirtatious energy she's giving him. And later on, and I guess somebody in the writer's room said, that didn't make no sense. Can we put in something to try to make that make sense? Or from the beginning, somebody else already had an antidote as to why it would make sense, but they needed to, hash that out in a scene. So after Julia Roberts and Mahershala's character do have their little dance, playing of all songs, a classic 90s black R&B song that she would know nothing about. Matter of fact, it was so goofy, they even had her pull out the damn record and say, this looks like it would be fun. it. Because it's got these young, black, handsome guys on it that look like they can groove. Because that was the move back in the day. You know, think of the group Guy. If you know Guy, if you don't, you're lost in the sauce. But I can't remember. I know the song. I knew the song. Right now, it was one of those groups that would have been an offshoot of the era of Guy and the New Jack Swing era. So she puts that on and they go to dancing and carrying on. I'm like, holy shit. Please tell me these fools are not about to screw. Please tell me this ain't about to happen. This cannot ruin this movie. Every movie don't need a sex scene. This can't happen in this movie. The man is grieving his unannounced dead wife. Are you freaking gonna play him out like, you know, because black folks are so easy to have sex with when you put on some good music and a drink. Y'all better kiss my ass. Don't come here with that BS. Don't you do it. And I give them one bit of credit that they didn't do it, but the scene was it was unnecessary, quite frankly, and unrealistic as hell. These two, she was so suspicious of her husband all the damn time. There's no way in the hell she would have let him be at the damn poolside with that one man's younger daughter and be out there being flirty and carrying on. There ain't no shit way in the world she would have went, drunk or not, 5 minutes without saying, "Where are you?" You know? And dude, Mahershala's character would have been like, "Where's my daughter and why you out here talking to this old fool? I thought you don't like them." You know, it didn't make sense. It didn't make no sense. So anyway, they end up hugging at the end of a little stupid dance where it was the worst. It was the worst stereotype of white folk can't dance, which is not completely true. But damn it, she didn't set y'all back another, I don't know how many years. I'm sorry, y'all. I got white friends who can dance. You know, I got some white friends who can. It's a state of mind. It's who you've been around and what you know. But for those who just completely ain't around nothing, yeah, I've witnessed it. It can be as bad as Julia was dancing in this scene. It was horrible. I was like, do you even care about the beat? I mean, the beat, it was nowhere near. She's doing some old flower girl hippie type wavy stuff. It didn't go with nothing. Hilariously terrible. At least Mahershala had some rhythm, because I just knew they were going, for the character's sake, try and make him like the stiff black guy who ain't got no rhythm. Nah, he had some rhythm. He did it old man style, like he really. Let me tell y'all something. If you ain't seen this video, there's a video that's out that shows that I didn't even know this till last year when I saw this. Mahershala Ali used to be in a hip hop group. He got flow. I'm talking about bars. Dude can rap his ass off. Okay? He got plenty of rhythm and soul. So yeah, I mean, but that's him as an individual, not a character. So I dig that. Like I said again, I'm just glad they didn't make him the complete corny, can't dance. Like, no, come on, man. That's just not realistic. It don't matter how. I mean, there's plenty of dudes that would be that kind of energy he had and still could bust plenty moves. And they did give him a little bit of that. So I was cool with that. It was, think Barack Obama when he's off camera with his wife dancing with Michelle. That's kind of how he was doing it. You know, it was that kind of, like, he had moves, but he didn't get all the way loose. So after all of that, hilarious, they end up just hugging in this really awkward scene. And she's telling me, you know, we're married. And I'm like, you ain't got to announce that. Ain't nobody trying to screw your old ass. Like, you ain't 20-something-year-old big-lipped Julia Roberts. No offense, Julia, if I ever meet you. But I'm just saying, yo, people get older. It's okay. It's old freaking K. You know, you are hot, but you ain't hot no more. Like, I hate that they still try and do that in these movies. It cracks me up. Like, this dude would not be throwing away nothing for her. And he just lost his wife, possibly. So it was very unrealistic. I just didn't like that from writing standpoint. It was so goofy. Those two scenes did not need to even, that shit didn't, what would have made more sense is if they had all tried to sit down together and play a card game or something and throw some more intense, like, I mean, you could have had some sexual innuendo with a card game that makes you answer questions or something, and it get kind of outed that the dude, because they're drinking, of course they be drinking, and maybe they're smoking too. I mean, but then she did do that kind of on the side, like she was her hidden secret, like her dad don't know. He know what his daughter doing, but I don't know. They could have done that differently. And they made a scene where they had the son in the bed trying to go to sleep, and he's, you know, pleasing himself, looking back at the pictures he done snuck from the pool of her. I was like, that was realistic. And actually, her picking his brain and smoking weed with him would have been more realistic. Now, actually wanting him, not realistic. But them kind of getting cool enough to let me pick your brain and find out who your parents really are. And that would have even made more sense for what she ends up doing in those scenes. Because here's what happens later is Mahershala's character and her reconvene like the next day talking about, you know, before they go on another mission to try and find people and supplies or some shit. And she's like, you know, I don't think we can trust these people, Dad. Just be really careful. I think the husband wants to screw me. And he's like, what? Like, why would you say that like that? And yeah. Yeah. Yep. So, like I said, y'all, so it was very uncomfortable, unrealistic scene. And in so many words, she makes it clear that she was just playing him. Like the whole time her smoking with him was just to pick his brain and figure out whether or not she felt like she could trust him and all this. I was just like, yeah, that ain't the way it would have went. That part didn't work for me. That part did not work for me. And I hate it because it's like, it's a stereotype, it's a trope. It's another one of those tropes in the Hollywood. And as a writer, I'm just sick of it because it's always trying to make some groups look like, you know, no matter how flighty and irresponsible and random as some folk can be, you know, when they depict certain black folk, no matter how much wisdom, no matter how much candor and self-respect they got, they always can be manipulated easier and played and seduced. And it's like, man, if y'all don't get out of here with this bullshit, I'm sick of it. It's like, yo, we're in 2025, man. There's too much going on. Stop playing. Like, you're gonna lose audience, keep playing. That's all it's coming down to, because at a certain point, people gonna be like, man, they'll see certain people attached to projects and just be like, I ain't watching that. I know what that's gonna probably be like. And like I say, I sat through it because I know as an actor, I'm looking at it from different angles, and I'm appreciating Mahershala's skill. I'm even appreciating Julia Roberts' skill as a legend in the game, but I just hated the character and I hated a lot of the writing and how it was put together. It's not that you didn't have all the right pieces to make a classic, and in some ways, there's classic, like I said, some classic monologues. Classic, very important monologues got said, and even scenes that were well done and entertaining. But, you know, it's as flawed as it is great. Great enough to be timely, and therefore I recommend it. I say still watch it if you want to see something that's going to put you in a state of mind of asking questions of like, you know, how ready am I for what the worst could be, and not doing the typical, you know, everybody's stockpiling weaponry and bullets and everything. And I ain't got nothing against defending yourself. I'm just saying this movie makes it very clear. All those things that are going to last just but a few days, whether in defense or even food, are just that. Like, what do you have in mitigate and the ability to speak to other people, come with respect, build rapport, gain trust, and be trustful genuinely to survive? Like, how many people are genuinely ready on that level? That's what this movie is really about. So check it out. Let me know what y'all think. And be respectful in the comments if you come at all, because otherwise, it won't see the light of the day. You know what I'm saying? Leave it all behind. Peace.